Welcome to the Chosen to Change podcast. I'm Josh, here with my brother Rob. This week we got our first special guest, Bryan.
What's going on?
Bryan's been a friend of, ours really, for probably about 7 to 10 years, something like that. We've known him for a while, so he's definitely a friend. Bryan is also a business owner, a father, a brother in Christ as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you, Bryan. I'm excited to talk about the rebuilding of relationships you're going through, your fatherhood, your manhood, your walk in your faith, and just be excited to learn more about your story. So we're excited to have you. We thank you for being on the podcast, and let's get it going.
I've been keeping up with your guys' podcast for pretty much all episodes, and I'm excited to be here, and you guys have been killing it. I've seen both of your guys' growth tremendous, throughout these years. I think I met you, Josh, when you were working at ADT.
Yeah.
I remember you were at a barbershop, and that's the first time we met. And Rob, he was a customer of mine at Paleta Bar when he first just started his cleaning business. So it's good to be here, and it's good to, for all my brothers to be doing good in life. And yeah, man.
Dang, ADT
that was back in the day.
That was over 10 years ago.
I remember at Barberville with my Joe. I think it was when he first opened. Yeah, hold up.
Yeah, that was with Jesus, right?
Yeah, with Jesus.
Jesus is.
No, it's exciting to see the growth of our community and our brothers and the people that we started business with. I almost feel like you grow with them as well as you go through those trials and tribulations as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've heard my story, Bryan. You've heard mine. You've heard Josh's story. The people have heard of everything. But now we want to bring on guests, and we want to start with some other testimonies. So today we want to bring you on and really want to get to know you. I know we know you about business. We know our friendship, but we really don't know about you as far as growing up, your childhood, what you went through, what got you to this point. And we kind of want to see if you can take it from there and just give us a glimpse of your childhood and explain your life to the audience, please.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You guys heard my name. My name is Bryan. I grew up here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've been here all my life. It's crazy to think about where I'm at right now compared to where I come from. I grew up in the South Valley, literally poor as heck. I lived with my uncles. I had like 5 uncles at a time living with us, my mom, my 2 sisters, in a 2-bedroom apartment, so it's definitely a hectic life. But I come from a great family, man. If there's one thing I was blessed with is amazing parents. Both of my parents, they've been together for close to 30 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, don't come from like a divorced family. My sisters I have a younger sister and an older sister. So I was a middle child, and being the only man, of course, growing up was a little rough. I had a lot of things going on my shoulder. A lot of pressure for sure. But, but yeah, man, it turned me to the man I am today. And, just being around all that stuff. I mean, you guys know how South Valley is, man, especially back in the day. It was gangs, drugs, things like that. And, luckily I stayed the force and didn't get involved in too much of that stuff. Of course, I had my trials and tribulations, but, we made it out, man. And I'm blessed to be here today, and I'm about to be 30 in 2 months. So I'm excited to really go on this new journey that I feel that I'm going to live my best life, going into 30 years old. So
that's awesome. What would you say your first trial tribulation that you dealt with? Doesn't sound like childhood was too bad. I mean, the ups and downs, but what age was it? High school? Was it right after high school? What was that first thing you dealt with that you felt like you had to deal with on your own, or you had some adversity?
Definitely when I was 15 years old. So I went pro in soccer. So I left here when I was 15 years old, and I went to Mexico and I got a trial. And I just remember, again, like, I speak Spanish, right? But it's like going down to Mexico is like a whole different experience, because here it's like Spanish is very choppy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know like what to expect. And again, like, I grew up with just my uncles here. There was 5 of them, but I didn't know any extended family. So I didn't grow up. Both of my grandparents were back in Mexico. All of my extended family was back in Mexico. So I didn't really know them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a challenge for me to just be like, okay, well, I'm going to go down there. They're my family in a way, but at the same time, like, I don't really know them. So I'm going to have to build some new relationships.
Yeah.
And of course I was scared. I mean, just living the house.
So as much as, I mean, you grew up within the culture,
Yep.
did you feel like you were also like an outsider though?
Exactly. That's exactly what it was, bro. I was like, when I got there, I kid you not, man, I was trying to like speak Spanish, but like people were like looking at me like, what does that word mean? Or what does that mean? And I just didn't know what to say. I was like, well, I mean, that's just how we say it. It was Albuquerque. I was like, I don't know what to say.
How did you get like, how did you move past that? How did you?
Just being around, man. I stayed there for about a year, and I just remember my grandpa went with me for three times on the bus, right? So when I got to Mexico, I had the trial, I made it on the team, and my grandpa said, okay, I'm going to take you on the bus. This is a route that you're going to take. I'm going to take you 3 times, and after that, you're going to do it on your own. So sure enough, bro, like after that 3rd time, I just started going on the bus, and I ended up sometimes I got lost. I was down there, and I took the wrong bus, and I would end up in just a different part of town, and I would have to figure out, ask the people around, like, hey, this is the address that I live at. How do I get there? What bus do I take?
At 15?
At 15 years old, yeah, bro. So
It was crazy. So did you not go to high school or just not finish high school?
I did, but I left. So it was my sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
So I did my freshman year here, and I actually wanted to leave that year, but I just didn't feel ready. You know, my dad was like, okay, you have a trial. They want you down there. What do you think? And I was like, Dad, I'm not ready. You know, like I feel like I am just going to waste my time. Like I wasn't really training. I've always had natural talent. That's one of the things we'll get to in a little bit later, but I've always had like natural talent for certain things. And I feel like sometimes because we know that, we get lazy.
Makes sense.
That's what holds us back, you know, because we're naturally good at something. So we just complacent. We're like, oh, we got this. We're good. So like, we don't need to train. We don't need to, and that's anything in life.
Yeah.
So for sure. Yeah. So for me, that's where it was. I was like, I'm naturally good, but I don't feel ready. Like that's like a next level. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, at 15 years old, that's a pretty responsible thought. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at 15, I mean, I don't know. At 15, if I was probably in that position, I'd be like, yeah, screw it. Let's go do it. But you're kind of thinking, well, you're very in tune with yourself, and you're like, I'm not ready.
Right.
I haven't been putting in the work. I haven't been putting in the time, you know? So I think that's very big as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, hearing you went to go play pro soccer, I know you're not a pro soccer player now. So from that time in Mexico, what brought you back? Was it a failure? Did you get what you wanted out of it, came back? Was there something you wanted to come back for? And then what started your journey in, I don't know if it was work, business, but maybe you can kind of help me with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. The reason I didn't stay, right, I did have, I think it was fear, you know, just based on what we're talking about right now too. My whole life has just been full of like fear, right? Like just not going at things in the best way possible. And so what ended up happening was, and again, you know, we don't got to say no names, nothing, but I did have a situation with a person, and it got to the point where I had to come back, you know, to face my mess ups essentially, right? And I messed up, I did something here, and so I had to come back and fix that. And that's the reason why I ended up quitting on that dream. You know, like my whole dream in life was just to be a soccer player. And, you know, I don't hold grudges. I've already forgave that person for what they did to me. And at the end of the day, it kind of like shaped me into being who I am today, right? Like, I think if I would have went pro and I would have made that happen, maybe I would have got injured in, you know, in 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And then my leg would have been done, and that would have been the end of my career.
How old were you when you came back to Albuquerque?
16. So I did a year.
Oh, so you did a year. Now, question, at 16, where was your faith at 16 years old? What kind of faith did you grow up with? And where was your faith at 16?
I mean, I grew up Catholic. You know, I've always believed in God. Absolutely. I don't think I've ever had a relationship with God, if that makes sense. Right?
It does.
100%.
I have always believed in God, and I've always, you know, when things go bad, I pray. When things happen in life, I pray. Good things happen in life, I pray. But at the same time, I never have had a deeper connection, or I've never had or seeked something more than just like, I believe in God and that's it. So I would say my faith was good, right? But it wasn't where it needed to be. And even right now, right at 15 years later, I'm barely figuring that out.
Yeah. So 16, you come back, you're back in Albuquerque. Soccer is no longer an option. You're not in high school, or you went back to high school?
Yeah, I went back.
Okay. So you went back to high school. Did you start working at 18, or what happened from that point on?
I just went back to school, and I remember I didn't even want to play soccer, man. Like that was tragic. What happened to me? It was I went through like depression. I went through like a lot of things. And essentially it was like I was supposed to have a baby, right? And that's the reason I came back. And I was like lied to about the whole situation. And so that kind of messed me up mentally, because it was like giving up on your dream, right? Like as a child, like you watch soccer, you watch football, you watch basketball, whatever it is. And you're like, I want to be that guy. I went through that. And I didn't want to play soccer, man. My dad and my mom were just like, this is what you love to do. Like, if you didn't make it in Mexico, that's okay. Like, there's still a chance for you to, just come back and just play soccer again, right? We'll get you into club, we'll get you into whatever, and hopefully you can make it into college. So yeah, I just came back to school. I took a year off of playing soccer, came back, got through all that depression, got through all that stuff. Soccer was a thing that kind of saved me through it.
True.
Not necessarily playing, but just watching and just kind of being around it. And
well, it's really the love for the game that you had. It wasn't more so because you were involved, but that was probably your escape, your outlet at that moment in time. So, what did those days look for you in your depression? Like, you didn't talk to nobody, didn't eat, didn't, you know what I mean?
Like, it was everything, bro. There was days where I just didn't even want to come out of my room. I was just locked up and, with lights off. And I was just like, man, like, why is this happening to me? I feel like sometimes, everybody in life is good, right? We all have a good heart. I feel like we have good intentions.
For sure.
Sometimes we don't make the best decisions, right? But essentially when you have that pure heart, like, you go to things like that and it's like, why me? What did I do?
Yeah. Did you resort to any substance or alcohol or anything? Any type?
Not necessarily. I just kind of kept to myself, and I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to be around anybody. And, I want to get through it.
That's good. Well, I think we understand your childhood. Sounds like you have amazing parents, amazing household, that even though you guys didn't have much, you had each other. And I love that, because you're able to grow up without kind of fixing those scars and kind of take your own course of life. Understand your soccer career, how the vision, the dream, you came back. But now I think we want to get into the real reason you're here. And we want to know, everybody knows who you are. They see what you do. They see your business flourishing, and you have a lot of people that look up to you. What I want to know, and what the audience wants to know, is what made Bryan today, what got you to this point that you've had to overcome, ask for forgiveness, seek forgiveness, or are you still seeking forgiveness of some sort? Like, where are we at? Like, give me the good stuff, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, it's kind of funny that you guys started this podcast too, because I was like, all the things that you guys talk about on here is sort of like, in a way, what I'm going through, but I feel like we have stages in life, right? So everybody has seasons, and I'm towards the end of my season of like messing up in a way, right? I'm like, okay, I need to like further look in my life and take a deeper look into my life and say, where am I going wrong? Because again, like, a lot of people there's people that grow up in rough areas with, not good parents, stuff like that. And they don't go through the troubles that like a person like me went through. Right. So now I'm just kind of like, I want to see God, man. I'm really looking to further that relationship, because again, I'm not perfect. I've messed up a lot. Currently in the middle of my second divorce. And so, hopefully that situation works out. And of course I don't want that to happen. But I think going through both of those situations has just put me at a spot where it's like, okay, there's nothing I can do anymore by myself. Yeah. I've tried to walk life by myself. I've tried to fix every single situation I could by myself, and I just can't.
Do you think that relationships has been something that you've, instead of God in your life, that you've leaned on, women relationships to kind of fill that void?
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of loneliness and a lot of living life on your own. So then you seek a relationship for validation. And I mean, if marriage has been 2 marriages that have failed respectfully, it's pretty obvious that the relationship, it wasn't necessarily them or you, it could have been something you're overcoming, but more so the relationship with God that you don't have or didn't have to bring into that marriage, into either marriage,
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's literally what it is. I just, again, I think I grew up not entitled, but I grew up in a way of, I had everything that I needed, love from my parents. And so like, you take advantage of that. We were just talking about it earlier. It's like, you have all these good things in your life, and it's just like sometimes you don't know how to take care of it, right? You like go the opposite way. So you look at people and it's like, oh, that guy's life is messed up, but like look at how good of a person he is, right? Versus like this guy's life is so good, but he's messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where I'm at. It's just like how can I fix the inner things that are going on with me that are, again, like deeper than just relationships, deeper than just business, deeper than friendships, deeper than anything, right? Like how can I fix that?
I think, I mean, you're definitely on the right path, and you're talking. The one thing that got me at church, the one thing that really got me hooked and realized that it was never too late is whenever they're talking about the people Jesus used to hang out with, and he used to be around the most, which were the sinners, the tax collectors. You know what I mean? And I mean, those were everyday people, you know what I mean? He didn't hang around with everyone that was amazing and perfect. And, so just know that no matter what you've been through, or you've been through it alone, you've been with him as well. He's been by your side. But you just had to seek him. And I think you're doing that.
Yeah.
I'm doing that as well. Rob's on that, so it's definitely, I guess, nice to just see the impact, you know what I mean, of just the way church has been bringing a lot of people together. And I salute you for, really just hopping into your faith, not saying, well, I need to go to church for a little bit longer so that way I can, get baptized or anything like that. You're just like, nope, I know what I want. This is what I want. Something in me is not right.
Right.
I got to fix it. And it starts with me.
Right.
Accountability that's everything. That's everything.
And that's the biggest thing is just like, how can I think that sometimes people seek either like church or counseling, things like that, only when they're doing bad in life, right? And then it's like you start doing good and then you stop, right? I went through that so many times. I mean, I've kid you not, I have a buddy that's been trying to get me into church and for 12 years now. And every single time I'm like, yeah, I'll go, and I'll go for a little bit, and then I'm doing okay, and then I'm like, I don't need to go anymore, right? So like this time around, it's just like I'm done with that. It's almost like living your life in a lie.
It's a false lie. It's a fake lie for sure.
Right. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to put up a front no more. I don't want to pretend that, life's perfect and that, everything's just going to be good, because it's just not, bro. Like even the people that you see on TV that supposedly have it together, and everybody goes through everything. You know what I'm saying?
How about so besides relationship, because I think I don't want to focus on the marriages, but the people you're around, how are the people that you hang around? How is your influence, and how do you influence others?
I think now it's getting a lot better. That's also been part of like the issues, right? It's like the people you surround yourself with, right? And so for the longest time, I was surrounding myself with a lot of people that maybe it's because I'm younger, and a lot of people my age, I started doing business when I was 22 years old. So everybody around that age was in college still and, figuring out their life. So everybody was partying. Everybody was just having fun. So I was like stuck in between, right? I'm like, okay, I already have my career. I already work, 80, 90 hours. I got this going on, but also there's a party this weekend that all my friends are going to. So I need to go.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that happened to me for years, man, years. And luckily, I think this time around, I'm surrounding myself around people that are, around church, that are husbands, that are dads. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm changing my circle because I want to be around that. I want to learn. And I'm always the youngest one in most rooms. And so it's nice to be around people that are older, guys like you guys that have more time.
Definitely more wisdom.
Right.
More wisdom for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, man, that's where I'm at right now. And
so, I mean, you said, you kind of go to church off and on, everything gets great, and then you stop going. So, I mean, what do you think is the main difference, like now? Like, why are you still bought in right now? Since 10, 12 years ago?
I've been humbled, man. I've been humbled.
Yeah.
Like hard, I'm like, again, like there's nothing else that I can try to figure out for myself anymore. I've tried to figure things out for myself. And
well, I mean, I'm sure you never envisioned the first marriage failing.
Right.
more or less the second one failing.
Right.
At this point, it seems like you're at a crossroad where you're like, okay, I've made a mistake twice. Now do you want to marry again? Do you want to be married at some point in your life?
I think so. Yeah.
Ready?
Like that doesn't scare me. Like the divorces don't necessarily scare me. But I think that in order to go into something like that again, I have to like change. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Not so much like people. It's just, I want to bring like three things to my relationships and friendships, anything, right? It's like, how can I bring value to you, first of all? How can I be a good brother? How can I be a good friend? Be a good influence, and how can I just give you my wisdom, and how can I teach you just how to continue to be better in life, And so when I feel like I'm at that point in life where I can do that and not like living a lie,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then I feel like I would be ready for that.
Well, I think the testimony of being divorced twice, you're going to be talking to a younger man like yourself, going through the same type of life. And my hopes is that when you explain to him what you've been through and your failures, you also show him that there's a time to change it around and turn it around. We ask for forgiveness for the things that have happened in the past, and your sins will be wiped away as well. But going forward, I believe heavily that our testimonies are for other people. They were never meant for ourselves. Your testimony is going to be for a young man or woman that says, hey, Bryan, I want to learn about life from you. You're the older, wiser guy. And now you're in my seat, and you have the opportunity to teach them, hey, don't do what I did. This is what I did in my first marriage, and I messed up. The second marriage, here's where I messed up. It's never the other people were the victims. It's you to blame, just so you can teach them better. And maybe God has that for you, right? God has you in that position to go through 2 failed marriages and say, Bryan, you thought it was the women's fault, but it was your fault.
Right.
Here's how I'm going to help you fix it. Right. And there is hope. It's not, you're not someone that's destined to fail in every marriage that you're in. You just haven't been led by God in either of them. And I can tell you, going through life without God, I make the worst decisions by myself versus when they're God-based decisions. So I think it's encouraging. I think your story of being able to overcome these relationships and still be positive and move forward in life.
Right.
Most people wouldn't actually move forward. They would give up at that point. So I respect you for that. And I understand that it's hard to talk about, but is that your chosen moment? Would it be the relationship?
So yeah, man. Like, when you guys came to Juice Ritual the other day, I literally had just had a moment where I was just like, this is where I changed my life. And, I have a baby on the way as well. And so.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
I appreciate you guys. He's due next month.
How many kids do you have?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be your
that'll be my second.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Second, yeah.
Gotcha.
So my little boy, Mateo, he's 3.5.
2 boys, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
I guess that's where I was just like, just crying, bro. Like I literally was just in a room crying, and I was just like, man, like I keep messing up. I keep just doing dumb things for no reason, And so I just sat down, bro. And I was like, this is where I changed my life. And my first step is seeking God, right? Like actually having a relationship with, yes, I believe in him, but actually having a deeper connection and getting involved so I can serve others, fixing that within myself and then moving forward.
Yeah. That's going to heal those relationships with their moms as well, because they know you as what you did to them wrong,
right,
and rightfully so. So the moment you decide to change your life, I think it took me 2 years for people to see the change. Now my household saw the change, but I also wasn't fully committed to the change until this year. I think it took me going all in and really putting it out there, that now other people are like, man, I've seen your growth. I've seen your change. Well, they didn't see the struggle to get to the change. So as much as I wish I could tell you it's overnight, you get baptized and all of a sudden you're saved and now life is going to be 100 times better, it's going to take some time. You're going to be in that spiritual
battle.
You're in that salvation. From the salvation now comes a spiritual infant, and that's what you're going to become. Somebody new in Christ, learning, excited. I just bought a Bible. I just heard this cool Christian song. But the goal to get you is to spiritual parenthood, where in 4 phases, and we talk about this in our Bible study, How do you grow to where you're now the disciple, getting people to salvation, to then be the spiritual infant, spiritual toddler, spiritual teenager, and now you have the spiritual parenthood.
Right.
The parenthood takes time to get to, but everyone stays in that spiritual infancy, because that's where that going to church a couple times, oh, cool sermon, that got me fired up, and they're back to sinning. The salvation, the infancy, you need to grow within in order to grow in your faith and actually understand what it takes to grow in that faith. And I think a lot of Christians and a lot of people miss that point, that there's a timeline you have to follow, just like in business. If I start an LLC and I'm bragging to you guys, hey man, I just started a business, I'm going to start a taxi company, taxi LLC. Tomorrow I give a couple rides, but then I don't grow the business. And in 6 months, well, what's Rob up to? Oh, he stopped his business because he didn't fulfill his plan. Well, if I never had a plan for the business and I just wanted to start a business because I want to be an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. Entrepreneur and salvation. And then what are the stages you get to where you want to be in parenthood, in spiritual parenthood? I compare that to in monetary wise, where you want time and freedom versus the money. When you're an entrepreneur, a new one, you just want money.
Right.
You don't care. I'll work 80 hours, 100 hours,
Right.
because you think the dollar is going to make me happy. Now that I've grown in my third business in 9 years of entrepreneurship, I want time. I want peace. I want community. I want brothers that I can share it with. And now I have all that. A wife who loves and respects me, and my family who understands why I'm doing it. But I have two partners that we're equal. I'm not better than them and they're not better than me. I couldn't do this by myself.
Right.
And it took me a while to really put my mind to that, to think like that. So kind of my wisdom and piece of advice for everything, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it takes, is just like, again, switching that gear. I mean, I feel like we've all been in places where like, we're doing good, business wise, we're making good money. But again, like, something always lacks, right? Like where you're giving all your attention to and where everything is going good, also there's all these things that you're leaving behind that are making things difficult for you. And eventually everything's going to come together and everything's going to fail if you don't take care of that. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I mean, there's definitely stuff that you're ignoring, right? And you're like, we'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that later. You're trying to live within the moment.
Yep.
But sometimes whenever you don't face that head on, like that moment's going to come at the worst possible time. And I know that it's happened to me numerous times. You know what I mean? I've had failed businesses. I've had businesses made money. Like, again, I used to chase the dollar, right? Like, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And honestly, I found myself miserable.
And I think it's normal though, like that you touch on that, like, because we all came from nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all came from, again, like, I had like a good childhood with parents, but at the same time we were poor.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard your guys' story as well. I mean, you come from nothing, so I think it's normal for us to have that drive, the hard work, the dedication. But then again, yeah, we do get sucked into that where it's like, okay, I can finally afford a house. I can finally afford a car.
Mm-hmm.
I can, I never thought in my life that I would be able to have this. And so you get sucked into that
For sure.
again, then.
Well, and I think the thing that people don't talk about, right, and I think this is something you may be going through, is like the self-sabotage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're because we grew up from nothing, you know what I mean? We had nothing. So there's a subconscious in your mind that's battling you.
Right.
Do I even deserve any of this? Is this even really what I'm truly supposed to be? I know that's my biggest thing, you know what I mean? Just the way my childhood was, being questioned about everything I did, right? So now what do I subconsciously do? I sit there and I question everything, like, dang, am I making the right decision? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And I'll tell you what, church and following Christ, that has silenced all that. The worries, the self-critic, because I'm my biggest critic, you know what I mean? I'm my biggest questioner. And but so I mean that definitely, the self-sabotages me for sure.
Yep.
I'll be like, I know what I have to do, but I'm like,
Right.
Which unfortunately that's just the way it is, you know what I mean? Kind of coming up from nothing, and yeah, you're like, do I even deserve this?
Yeah, no,
Do I deserve the family, the car, the house, you know what I mean? Then you find yourself miserable because you're not really happy,
Right.
you know?
Well, I mean, I think just I've been going to Bible study for 3 weeks now, and a lot of the guys in that Bible study, that's the biggest thing, is I feel like everybody we all sin. Even I'm sure you guys sin now that you guys are following Christ, right? I think obviously that's going to continue, but there's obviously ways to try to avoid it. But just talking to those guys, I mean, everybody sinned and they just didn't have like any answers for it. And so that's what essentially with me, it was like I was just sinning. But now, again, I want to build that relationship, because at the same time, like I want to be able to not do that as much anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like not look at the shiny things and, the devil tempting you with money, with whatever, women, objects, not putting that at the center of your life, but instead having a purpose and putting that at the center of your life to then allow you to, redirect everything.
Yeah. And I think what you need to understand is it's very similar to entrepreneurship, in my opinion, your faith, because people who don't believe I have God in my life, but I don't really go to church. It's basically saying I'm in the middle of the black and the white. I'm kind of in the gray. I know what God is, but I don't practice anything, or I don't believe fully. Kind of like in business, if you are committed, but you also have 2 other jobs. Yes, you have a job, but you're not fully engaged in it. For me, now that I'm fully engaged in my faith, we're talking small group, youth group, going to church, getting people to go to church, being bummed out that they don't want to go to church, and I'm inviting them numerous times. Now it has more pressure and more on me, because the devil now really wants to see me mess up. When I was doing the things I was doing, the cheating, the lying, I could do it because a handful of people knew I was doing it, and the people around me, they weren't correcting me.
Right.
It's okay. I won't tell your wife anything. And I built it in myself that I didn't believe I was doing something wrong, because I'm not being treated a certain way.
Right.
So it's okay that I'm doing this. The devil. And I really want you to understand that when you commit to your faith and people see this transformation, it's not to gain the attention of women, to wash your plate clean just so other people can forgive you of what you've done. It's for you, yourself, for your 2 sons, for the future of your life and your soul going to heaven, that you're committed to doing all the things that you committed to when the times are good, when the times are bad, when business is good and business is bad. Are you going to show up to that Bible study when there's an event, a marketing event at a bar, and you might gain more business? I made it clear to some people, if we're going to meet up, I can't meet at a bar. Well, your wife? No, it's not my wife. It's my morals, my spirit. I know. Because why? When I go around those places, I act appropriately, not inappropriately, but I understand if I'm in a bar and someone sees me, isn't that the guy that cheated on his wife? Well, there I am at the bar. Why am I at the bar? What? I'm kind of going 2 steps backwards. Or even worse, someone sees me from Sagebrush and I'm at Hooters on a Tuesday for a business meeting. Even if I don't drink, I'm putting myself in a situation where I shouldn't have to do that anymore. And those are choices that I have to make. And I think it's harder to walk this life. I'm now in a fishbowl. I'm on a podcast. We're vlogging for our business. I'm helping out with youth. I'm helping out at church, and I'm the leader of my household. I'm in a fishbowl, and people just can't wait to see if this is a fraud.
Right.
And I'm glad, because I know what it's going to take to keep this path going.
Because I've talked to people that's exactly like same thing. I've talked to people within the last 3 weeks, right? And I probably 2 people have actually wanted to like see me like fulfill this. Everybody else is like, oh dude, you're gonna fall off, or you're only doing this because whatever, you want attention, or you're only doing this because just random stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get it, but
some people do. I've seen people get baptized, make the commitment to grow in their faith, and just go backwards. Right. I've seen people go to church all the time that never decide to get baptized, but they go to church every Sunday. To me, that's not growth.
Right.
It's a decision they need to make and they need to commit to. And I understand that. I don't pressure anybody, but without you making that full commitment, it just says a lot about where you are in life at that time, what you're thinking, what you're going through, and where you're lacking, for sure.
Right. Absolutely. I mean,
You pressured me.
I know, I did pressure you.
Well, see, that's good, bro.
No, for sure. It's not.
You want that type of pressure, right? Because it's like, again, what I tell all these people, I'm like, dude, thank you for trying to, again, it's kind of like the devil attacking, right? Like, thank you for telling me I'm going to fall off. Thank you for not believing in me. But at the same time, I'm not doing this for anybody other than myself.
No,
you know what I mean?
Definitely. So I'm getting baptized as well on the 16th. And I was talking to someone within my family, And, the first thing came out of their mouth was, well, you got baptized as a kid. Why do you got to get baptized again?
That's my parents, bro.
And which correct, right? Like, I mean, correct.
Mm.
But I said, well, you know what? I didn't have a choice then. Like, I get it. It was with the right intentions.
Yes.
It was the right intentions to set me off in the life that I should have lived. But I also didn't have the opportunity to really indulge in what that meant and really live in it, right?
You have no
And
idea.
so
No,
right now, at this moment in time, whenever I chose to lock down and I chose to fill out that paperwork, it was for me.
Right.
It was because this is what I want. This is the life I want to seek.
Right.
And I feel like that has been more powerful than any sacrament I have. And I have all four of my sacraments. I mean, other than, my marriage, but you know what I mean? Like, I have my first Holy Communion, my baptism, my confirmation. Like,
You grew up Catholic?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
I grew up Catholic.
Mine as well.
I did everything for everybody else. The only reason why I got confirmed was because my grandma asked me to get confirmed.
Yeah. Same.
And I mean, what was I going to tell my grandma? No, like, no, I don't need to do that.
Right.
My grandma says a rosary every morning. She reads her Bible, you know what I mean? But her being a super hardcore Catholic, I told her what church I was going to. And at first she was like, well, why? And I was like, just the way he breaks down the Bible. And then as I'm talking to her, she goes, I actually watch Todd from time to time. She's like, I really like it.
Yeah. No.
And I was like, wow. And so now that I told her, hey, like, I'm getting baptized, and my grandma was like, I'm so proud of you.
I love it.
She goes, because this is like this, I could tell this is for you. Like, this isn't just because. She goes, and regardless of what, the difference is, he was like, the one thing that matters is that you're chasing Christ.
Yep.
We all believe in the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, I just want you to live a life with Christ.
I love that.
And that was probably the biggest blessing, you know what I mean? Like, I had that day, and
Yeah.
it meant a lot, just knowing that, my grandma's background,
Yeah.
and but she knows, you know what I mean?
I think regardless of the faith background, that people, you just want to understand why you're doing it. When we're all about us three, we're all baptized as kids. Our parents made the dedication to baptize us. So in their opinion, I believe my parents said, I'm going to baptize Rob so he gets to heaven, because that's what they thought the qualifications were.
Yeah.
Little do they know that's not close at all.
Mm-mm.
When it comes to your faith, it's a decision that we have to commit to, that we have to make in order to fulfill our glory to get to heaven. It's just like if it was a marriage that was, you're marrying this person and you had no choice, we wouldn't do it.
Right.
But hey, I want to marry Vanessa. Okay, well, yeah, definitely. You chose her, you marry her. That's how that worked. Same with your faith. You have to be dedicated to the faith and want to be ready to grow within that faith. Salvation and baptism is amazing, but that's day zero.
Right.
It's what happens from that moment on that not only your son's going to look forward to when they're older, they're going to say, Dad, why should I get baptized? And you have to have that answer for them with your own living testimony versus, well, I got baptized as a kid. That answer is old. I mean, a lot of us say that.
Right.
We don't even know what that means.
Right.
I think right now, when we talk about fatherhood, what does it mean to be a father? Well, we reference the 1GM all the time, not because of the business I have, but because of the meaning. The 1GM is not leaving behind what you messed up for your kids to deal with. It's not leaving behind the scars and the wounds that were not healed. It's leaving behind a legacy for your kids to now understand going to church, being baptized, serving in your community, serving in your church, and having the sacrament of marriage and fulfilling those promises. That's now their standard,
Right.
bare minimum. My kids are going to be phenomenal at it. They're going to make mistakes, I understand, but they don't have to go through all the mistakes that I had to do in order to get there. For me, that gets my faith. I restore myself because it excites me to keep pushing harder, to do more, to serve more, and to do it with a genuine, true heart. So for me in my journey, it's taken some time, but it's worth the ride. I'll tell you that I love silencing the doubters, just the nature of who I am. So I don't do it for them, but it's nice to hear them quiet. I love when people try to compare, or in their head, they might not even tell me they're comparing themselves to me, but they want to try. And deep down, I already know what I bring to the table, and there's no comparison. you really have to be on your A game to be on fire for God like I am. When it comes to that, when it comes to business, relationship, personal development, you gotta run really fast to beat me. It's possible, but I'm a very consistent person. So that's like my pride and my competitiveness where I grew up playing sports. That's how I translate that. And you can take the professional soccer player and use that energy into your faith.
Right.
And now you can go pro in God.
When you use that, you can use that in your entrepreneurship. I mean, you've had several successful businesses, you know. I really feel like you have the blueprint, bro. Like you've already been living the blueprint.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Like you've gone through the struggles of business. You've gone through the ups and the, you know what I mean? You've gone through the highs of the highs and the peaks and the valleys, and you stay down. You continue to have, you know, a very successful business. And I really truly feel like he was saying entrepreneurship and walking to Christ, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I feel like the blueprint is definitely there. It's just really for you to see it and for you to watch and call it. And
Right.
I think to go off of fatherhood, like the best thing about it is, one, my kids will never walk alone in life, regardless. Not only because they have me, but because they have God, and they've to see the way my kids have jumped into, you know what I mean, service, and you know the things they come back home and talk about after sermon and all this stuff. They name off more about the Bible than I know, you know, and I learn from my kids, but I just know that not only will they ever have me, no matter what, they will always have God. So I think that's probably been one of my biggest accomplishments when it comes to fatherhood, is, you know, just allowing them to have someone outside of their house.
I mean, you're going to be tested too. Like when times are good, the tests aren't as hard. But have you guys ever read the story of the book of Job?
In
the Bible? So last night I was watching a video on it, and basically Job was a man of faith. He had all the cattle, all the riches, 7 sons, 3 daughters. Life couldn't have been better for this guy. And the devil and God, the devil says, no, this man of Job is a fraud. I'm gonna tempt him, and I'm gonna show you he's not as faithful as you think he is. So the devil tells God, why don't you take away what he has, you know, his money, his whatever you think it is, and let's see how faithful he is. Takes away the cattle, the kids, takes away the kids, they die, and Job now has nothing. So Job is hearing that his no wealth, no kids, nothing but himself. What does he do? Drops to his knees and prays to God. Then now the devil says, well, you're taking everything. He's still loyal to you, still praising you. Do something else. Okay, gives him some type of, I don't know exactly biblically, but disease or something to his skin where he's hurting. He's almost get this rash. Okay. Now he's peeling these things off with clay, and all right, I'm going to break him this time. You know, the devil says, you're going to break him now. And Job's still faithful to God, What do you think he does? God restores the cattle in tenfolds, gives him the new children, gives him everything back. But in those times, imagine being Job modern day. You take my house, my vehicles, that's okay. You take my kids, you take my family, it'd be really hard. I mean, I'd be battle tested in my faith to stay strong and to drop to your knees and still understand that God has a bigger plan for you. I think that was really an eye-opener for me, because we don't have to deal with things like that. But if we do, and if we did, how faithful are we then?
Right.
That's going to be a faith tester right there. You know,
and if you don't have that relationship built, though, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the hard part, right? Because when you don't have that, I mean, that's again, then you do fall into depression, you fall into the addictions of alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, because you don't know how to cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Questioning him, why?
Right.
Why are you doing this to me?
Right.
Why me?
The devil's coming for all of us. He's the prince of this world. He knows the Bible better than any of us do, and he knows how to manipulate just enough to make you feel like it's okay to do so. So, well, with Juice Ritual, you started it how long ago?
So the business has been around for 2 years.
2 years.
So Depot had actually bought it with the lady that originally owned it.
Oh, nice.
And so I was just kind of there like consulting, being a part of it. And then in February, I ended up buying the store from them, or from him essentially, because the girl's no longer part of it. But so I just kind of
about 9 months in.
Yeah. So I like to tell people, like, you know, when people ask me, I'm like, well, the company's been around for a little bit, but technically we've only been open since May.
Yeah.
Because I did go in there and I, changed a lot of things, revamped everything.
No, you definitely have from where it was.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is, I've seen it. I've been there. I love the product. I love what you do. I know you're a hardworking man. I would never take that from you. What does Juice Ritual look like once you get baptized, once you're fully engaged in your faith? What do you think your company and what vision do you have for Juice Ritual being faith-based at that point? What are your goals, or what do you see happening, I guess?
My goal is to build a company, right? I has always been kind of like going back to the soccer, having that same discipline. I want to build something great, right? Not for my personal gain in a way. I'm more so worried about how I can make an impact for other people. So I definitely want to grow at 10x. I want to grow it to multiple locations. Deeple's still part of the business on the company side, and we're still going to do the company together. So we definitely want to grow by next year. Hopefully we can have 3 or 4 locations in the city, and then from there just start franchising out. And yeah, just go from there, man. But I think just learning from previous businesses as well, not making the same mistakes. You know what I mean? So like one company that I was part of grew really fast, and then it kind of started crumbling down. But there was no systems. It wasn't faith-based. I don't necessarily know. I don't want that to happen, right? So I want to truly be ready, truly set up the systems, truly get everything to the point where if you guys were like, you know what, Bryan, I'm going to throw my life savings at you because I really believe in your company. I don't want to fail.
Yeah.
Because that to me is like, you're trusting me.
I think in my company, now that I'm fully engaged in my faith and I talk to new customers every day because it's door to door sometimes. And I remember at a point, I'd try to find a conversation of what do we like? Do we like the same football team? Is it the Lobos? Is it something going on in the world? And I would try to attach myself to a common conversation just to build that relationship to hopefully get the sale. Well, I remember one time I wanted to talk about God and I wanted to ask him what church I went to. And I hesitated, not because I didn't believe in it. I just didn't think it was appropriate to bring up for some reason. Well, after that, I regretted it. I said, okay, the next time I'm dealing with the customer, I'm just going to talk about it. Hey, do you believe in God? Yeah, I do. Or I go to, I'm a Catholic, or whatever it is their practice. So from this point on, any customer, any partner that I've dealt with, I bring it up all the time.
Right.
Oh yeah, well, guess what? Oh yeah, I go to the same church as you do. Oh wow, really? I've never seen you there. Next time I'm there, try to say hi. More people you fellowship with, awesome. Or hey, you know what? I go to the other Christian church. Oh, that's awesome. How do you like it over there? Great. Well, yeah, keep it going. Like, it doesn't matter where you go, but I like to bring it up because I want, even if they don't sign the deal and if they don't like my prices and they don't go with me, I want them to know like that was a man of God right there. Like I picked the cheaper roofer. I'd pick the better roofer, whatever. But this guy was a man of God and I'll forever respect that man. That's what I do now. And that's my vision for you in Juice Ritual. Someone comes in, is it going to be a bunch of cuss word songs? Is it going to be, hey, this is Bryan, F this, F that? Or is it going to be, hey, this is Bryan, how's it going? Oh, yeah, definitely. Your Bible's out. Oh, yeah, I've been doing a Bible study in between. And you don't have to fake it, right? But however it is, you communicate that.
Right.
Where do you go to church? Have you been here before? Oh, nice. Yeah, check it out. I just got baptized at Sagebrush. Come through.
Right.
Those kind of conversations, just keep you fired up about it. So I encourage you to do so.
I feel like those conversations, whenever you're like in your faith, that they almost find you. Because I'll tell you, like, I go door to door too. And I had a lady yesterday. I mean, the deal was already closed. Everything was done. And she just looked at me and she goes, "Do you believe in God?" And I was like, "Actually, I do." And we just kind of started talking, and the older lady was like, "Where do you go to church?" So I go to Sagebrush. She goes, "Oh, I know Sagebrush," but it's just, then this has probably happened to me about 7 times in the last 3 weeks, where people or I will just be like, "Do you believe in God?" Like, and that's how I knew it was my moment to get baptized, was because it was just so much finding me, you know, it was seeking me, and that doesn't always happen. So,
and I think that's good that you touched on that, bro, because that's sort of the reason why I decided to build a relationship with God, and same thing too, and get baptized. because I kept getting all these little signs. And again, like, mind you, this is from somebody that does believe in Christ, but doesn't have a relationship still.
100%.
Dude, people kept coming in, bro. I remember this one lady came in and I started making her smoothie, and she just was looking at me. And at first I was kind of like, side-eyeing, and I was like, why she keep staring at me, And I don't know her. She asked me that question. She said, are you a follower? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I believe in God. I don't necessarily, I can't recite you anything in the Bible, but I do believe in him. And she was like, I'm going to be praying for you. You have the Holy Spirit in you. She's like, I can feel it. I can see it.
That's awesome.
That happened not once, not twice, 3 times. Another person came in and he told me the same exact thing. He's like, hey, dude, I like your tattoo. He's like, I'm guessing you're a follower. And I told him the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I believe in Jesus Christ. And but I don't really know much about the Bible, nothing else. And he was like, dude, your energy, I feel it radiating out of you and everything else. And I'm like, what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying?
See, and I like to be that person telling people like you that, because then it gets them fired up to find that faith within themselves to then pursue it. Now, for both of you, my question is, baptism is coming up this weekend for Bryan, the next weekend for Josh. What I know right now, it's focused on being baptized.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys see happening after baptism? What's the next? Both of you guys. I know both of you guys.
I think for me, it's just being obedient, right? Like, everybody talks about obedience in multiple ways in life. I think obedience for me, and just talking to my mentors and tying that into religion as well. Just being obedient in life, not kind of how you were saying earlier, Rob. Like, people get baptized and people go to church, but then they fall off or they don't really live that life.
Mm-hmm.
For me, is like truly living the Christian life, and truly, again, whether it's the cussing, whatever, drinking right now, like I'll have a couple drinks here and there and stuff like that. I know for me that sometimes that also gets me in trouble. So it's just, I have a list written down of the things that I personally want to work on and things that have gotten me in certain situations in life, and how can I eliminate those. And so for me, it's after baptism is just staying obedient, looking at that list and say, hey, don't forget that when you did this was your outcome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just really being obedient and really living the Christian way of life. I think everybody has their own definition. I'm not, Josh, I'm sure you have your own definition as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's for me, just staying obedient and continuing to pursue that life that I want for myself.
Yeah, that spiritual growth, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Josh?
I think for me, it's going to be a big step, because I feel like I'm ready to give, I'm ready to serve, I'm ready to impact other people, kind of just, which, I mean, it's already been happening just with other people, having conversations at work or having conversations with friends, like, hey, come to church, hey, do this, or what have you been up to? Like, I've been going to church. Again, like, you told me this when I was 15 years old. I never told you I would have been this person. But right now, at this moment in time, I wouldn't change it. Yeah. I wouldn't. So it's definitely just diving deeper, being more open, giving back, building that stronger connection with God to where he takes all my worries, he takes all my sorrows, my happiness, and I credit it all to him. And really just learning how to be a vessel for him, and really learning how I can live my life through him to impact other people. So that's definitely what it'll mean for me.
Yeah, no, and I definitely will be here for both of you, not only for the baptism, but for the next steps after that and for the spiritual growth that will come with it. Because like we talked about Job, you're going to hit this momentum where everything is going really well and it's easy to serve. And you're going to tell a friend or somebody you used to know, hey, I'm serving at church, I'm baptized, I'm reading the Bible. And the response isn't going to be what you expect. Cool. So you think you're better than me now?
Right.
No, I'm closer to God. My faith is getting stronger. Are you going to retract because of a comment somebody said, or are you going to step further into it? You know what? I'm going to show them that I'm committed to this. I've had, unfortunately, things that people have called me because I gave them the title. I allowed them to call me something that I did out of character, and then I had to own up to the name. So now if you call me those names, I'm no longer affected because I know where I'm at now. But those names that I was called before, I was doing it. So I can't be offended if you're calling a bear, right?
A spade is spade.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think it's one of the hardest things to do is to remain faithful, to remain just strengthening your faith every single day.
Yeah.
Something I don't know if I've shared with a couple of you guys, but in the last 2 weeks, I've been walking in the mornings, like 4:30 a.m. A buddy of mine started it and said, "Hey, let's go over a walk and talk about God and talk about, life and meditate and look at the stars." And I'm like, "Oh, it's early. Like, I don't want to get up that early." But we did it. It was one of the best things I've ever experienced because I couldn't tell you the last time that I walked, talked, prayed to God, looked up at the stars, and just time was moving so slow.
Yeah.
And it was so fulfilling to me. So it's been about 5 walks in now. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't really know what the purpose is, but I know I'm doing it. And those are little things for me that's helping me grow within my faith because I am serving, I am Bible studying, so I'm doing these things. It doesn't mean that I'm done. It means that it's just one more thing to add to my, my weapon.
Exactly.
One more thing to sharpen my iron. So just stuff like that. I encourage you guys, and I'll be here for you guys to guide you guys through that. Men's groups, Bible studies, reading the Bible with your spouse, by yourself, with your kids, all of those there's multiple ways you can grow your faith.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And I kind of just want to reflect on that. We know Rob saying he will be here. I can attest to that. Again, I still, to this day, I thank Rob and I'll say it again. Thank you that offering that moment, back in January. Like, honestly, if I didn't take that opportunity and I didn't just jump on it when I did, I don't know where my life would be. Honestly, it was
the way the conversation went is you were telling me financially some issues you were going through. There were some issues with some personal things you were dealing with. And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Let's go to church." You're like, "Well, I'm still having financial issues. I understand, but let's go to church so we can have a different perspective on it." So I think us just pivoting that, you taking the chance, showing up, and at that point, not really knowing what was going to come out of it, but you gave it a chance. So as much as you can thank me for inviting you, it's also you stepping up to the plate and taking that responsibility in your faith. So
no, for sure. I mean, again, it just takes that person though to be like, you need change in your life. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people say that, and even it's a very touchy subject because a lot of people are like, well, who are you to tell me that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely takes some.
Well, they might say you might even hear it. Who is Rob to tell you to go to church when he's done all these bad things?
Yeah. I mean, right. But that's the thing is like, it's all right, bros. Like, people are going to talk for the rest of our lives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And only we walk in our shoes. And I think as men, we're stubborn. That's what it is. Like we're so stubborn,
Stuck in our ways.
So
Stubborn to change.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it takes another man though, right? Like you have a good example in Rob. Rob's been a huge example for me too. All of you guys, man, like anybody that's come into my life that's older, that has gone through certain things that I've gone through as well. Even though you guys might not know it, I do pay attention and I do catch on to those things, and we might not have to talk every day, but you guys do have an influence in me, and I tell it to all the people that have touched my life in any type of way. And yeah, man. So I'm excited
I appreciate it
for all you guys to keep growing, and for allowing me to keep growing as well.
Yeah, and my hopes with the podcast is that them hearing and understanding that Josh is getting baptized, Bryan's getting baptized, I've been baptized and growing in my faith, that you also can step up and be baptized and step into your faith. There's no time that's too late. There's no right time, wrong time. All it takes is you committing to give yourself to Christ, to take that path, to grow in your faith, to be the person that God intended you to be. So I'm encouraging everybody that's out there, give it a shot. It doesn't matter what church you go to, your church you want to choose, but get baptized, do the right thing. And maybe you think I'm wrong, but God knows what's right.
Definitely. Well, before we wrap this up, you have any message to any fathers out there that are kind of going through some of the things you have? You have a message for them?
Yeah, man. I just, again, like the biggest thing is, stop being stubborn. You don't want to walk through life by yourself. I did that for such a long time, and, it finally took a little bump on the shoulder, from multiple things happened in my life to finally, give up and say, I need God, I need a higher power to help me and guide me through the rest of my life. Because again, we got to break generational curses. We have to be the ones to, take out all that hurt and all the bad things that have happened in our families, to give our kids a good life and just grow and continue to be good people on earth, man.
You have anything to close out?
No, I think we've said enough about our faith. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming on and talking about where you want to take your faith, the things you've been through, and the hurdles that you're going to also face going forward. So we're very encouraged by your story. We are excited to have more people come on and talk about their stories. At the end of it, our goal is to lead people in the right path, but also address the issues that they've had so we can overcome them and not have to always revisit what the mistakes were. I want to move forward. I want to follow Christ. I want to live this healthy style of life. So thank you for putting it out there.
Yeah.
Now let's move forward and take that into action.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I want to mention to you guys is I think that you guys are getting a lot of traction on this podcast. And I think the reason why is because you guys are so real with everything that you say. And, there's a lot of people that start podcasts and all they want to talk about is they want to bring like the guest with the most money. They want to bring the person that has the most influence. And I think you guys are doing a great job of looking for people that have a story to tell, but it doesn't matter if they're not $1 million person or they have all this money or whatever the case may be, I think you guys are going to continue to grow for that reason, that you guys truly keep it real and, want to help people too. That's the biggest thing is you're bringing value to a lot of people and you might not even know it, so you guys are doing great, man. I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate it. And again, we appreciate everyone. We appreciate everyone who listens, reaches out. The support has been tremendous, so again, we wouldn't be here without you. And just one more person, one more episode, that's our motto. It seems like just impact one person with one episode. And I feel we've done that every single episode. So thank you guys again for tuning. Remember, we are chosen to change. So are you. You can choose to change.
Amen.